Hello there, and welcome to another brand new series. Now, this is going to be a little different than some of the other things you've seen on this channel, but this is going to be a Civilization 5 AI only playthrough. Well, not really playthrough, but simulation. There is 42 nations, not counting my own, and I'm going to be Venice to not really alter the course of much, meaning they require city-states in this game, and there will be no city-states. Now you might recognize some of your favorite nations will be missing, such as Sweden is not in here, and we'll get to a few more in a second. But there will be some added nations. I added the Goths, as well as the Lithuanians. I didn't use the standard Theodora Byzantine Empire. I decided to download the Justinian I pack as well, just because I find that they are more aggressive and they do have a slight better tree that doesn't favor religion in a map where religion is going to be fairly irrelevant. I do think it's going to be important to mention here off the start that time and science victories are disabled. Here is probably going to be one of the more interesting regions. We're going to be looking at Asia. We added a few empires here, the Jin and the Liao empires, as well as Mongolia, China, Korea. Your standard guys are in the game. At the distance, we should have Siam over here. No Indonesia, but we do have Japan. Australia is left untouched, so we'll see who can race to colonize Australia here. Now, moving to Africa, Zulu tend to be a very powerful nation if you let them just roam free, so we added the Congo Empire here just to give a bit of a balance to the future empire of the Zulu. Now further up here we have obviously Arabia, the Ethiopians, Egypt. We're going to start running the sim here. We got Songhai as well as Ditto, Morocco, Portugal, Spain, France, England, the Celts, the Danes, the Germans. I won't go through all the nations here, but as you can see, it's starting to populate on the map. In North America, we have the Shoshone, the Chinook, and then over here we're going to have Canada, USA, and the Iroquois. Add Canada for a flavor of rivalry here, and you're going to see a big omission here. I left South America empty as well. I needed to fit 42 nations and have some fun rivalries, and there was just too much distance between like the Aztec, the Inca, Brazil, and I just didn't have enough space, obviously with 43 nations, to add more here in South America. So it's really going to be interesting to see who fills them out in the bottom of the map as well. Early game predictions. You should leave those in the comments section below. I'll be honest, my early prediction is maybe gonna be Siam. I know that we don't have city-states, but they just have such a good little area they can monopolize here, especially if they can get early trade with either Punjab or India. And then same up here if you can get any kind of trade power with whoever's going to be the predominant Chinese nation out of this area. Mongolia is going to be interesting. They don't really have their main benefits not having city-states as well as Venice, but they don't rely on them as much as Venice does, needing them to trade for city-states, which is why I'm Venice. But yeah, Mongolia and Siam won't have 100% access to their best abilities, but they should still be very powerful nations just based on where they are situated. The Huns, Russia, the Goths, this is going to be a fun section to see who can come out of here. Same thing over here, obviously. A lot of these regions are catered to have early wars. We do have aggressive and expansive AI downloaded, so that is going to be a benefit for us as well. Nations are just kind of getting their first city settled. Barbarians are enabled. They are raging barbarians. I do have random personalities enabled as well, I do believe. But yeah, I'm gonna go Siam as an early winner. Aside from that, I might still have the Zulu up there. Just kind of looking around these areas, seeing who has access to what kind of resource. This is a really good start for Suleiman. He's got gem, stone, gold. He might be an early powerhouse, especially if he can control what happens here in Assyrian Babylon. Especially if you can do an early conquest of Byzantium. But that one tile river might just be too much. Obviously we don't have the Bosphorus Strait enabled. But it shouldn't be too big of an impact here. Egypt has a lot of sugar. No wheat, so their growth is going to be slightly limited. They're just going to be big gold powerhouses. They should be stumped by Ethiopia. Ethiopia is a good defensive counter to Egypt, as well as Assyria across from the sea here. But it'll be interesting to see. Some nations are already at 3 population, Assyria at 4. Oh, Thebes is building a settler. There's no way. Oh no. He was just lacking behind. Interesting. Interesting. Let's go check out Canada here. Now America might have a really good chance at running away with the continent here if they can get some early expansion south and if they keep developing south. But the Shoshone have the same kind of flow here, right? And especially with their unique ability that gives them more land and their pathfinders. Not that I think the AI really uses it to the extent a human would, but you can select your own ruins, and those 3 early pathfinders are going to be some good defensive troops. Not as strong as warriors, but still stronger than a scout, so you don't kind of have to worry about that. And here we go. I think the Iroquois are going to have the first second city here, unless Japan has one as well. I think no, Kyoto's just sprawling big on the map there. But we got our first second city. The Iroquois are big settlers. They will make a bunch of cities. It'll be interesting to see how Canada or America can balance out their quick, heavy expansion. See if they team up early on to take them on, or if it's the end of their times. Only time will tell. Maybe the Iroquois and America team up to take on Canada. Who knows? Korea is going to be in a fun spot. They're not going to be instantly targeted by China, but they don't have any room to expand, so they're going to make Busan their second city really quick and really close. It's going to give Seoul good protection, but I'm just not sure it was a great area to settle a city, especially if you could have expanded, oversettled here, and maybe gone where this Chinese settler is, maybe even on this hill. You get access to the salt, the deer, the bison. It'd make for a much stronger city, and especially with much more potential to grow. It looks like China might be going for the first war here. They're quickly pushing towards Shangjing. We'll see if the Great Liao has anything to counter, as Mongolia's pushing for 3 cities already as well. We have some quick expansion here in the first 30 turns. Let's go check out Europe, see how Europe is doing. Very quiet still. Amsterdam, biggest city of them all. Oh no, Vilnius. My god, Lithuania. One thing I have noticed in either watching or doing Sims in the past is Lithuania seems to be an early game powerhouse. It's just a matter of being able to maintain the momentum that they get early on. That seems to be a big struggle for them. And we'll see if they can maintain it, especially with already bordering Warsaw and Poland here. Poland having a settler and Lithuania not. The Goths are going to settle their second city. Istanbul not looking like a great city for population, but it should be a production powerhouse. If ever we get the prompt for who's making the most production, I would not be surprised to see the Ottomans here early on being the leaders. And we're going to hit turn 30 here as France is going to forward settle all the way here on Rome. It'll be interesting to see which of these two Roman empires survives the longest. Will it be the West? Will it be the East? Smart money would be the West. Just based on current opposition, you have distance to settle some cities, but you're going to have to watch out for Napoleon, who's settling right on your border. But that could be a quick early war if Caesar so pleases. There's our first wonder here. It's going to be done by the Ethiopians. Interesting to see how you can make... Alright, they start with the settler, that's right. There's the first third settler, unless the Iroquois have done it already. Yeah, the Iroquois are going to make 3 cities. Montreal is going to be out here in the boonies. Washington has yet to expand as well. The Shoshone are going to make a second city here that looks pretty decent. We got Punjab expanding as well down here. Not a river city, not the greatest city, especially considering some of the areas you could have settled that are just nearby. But hey, who am I to judge? As I think the Shoshone get their third city up as well. Yeah, they're gonna be quick expanders here. But I think the biggest question is going to be who has the first war? My prediction was going to be over here, as it seems like China settles all the way north. Shanghai is going to be far from their initial border. Jiangxing is going to block Korea off pretty much from the peninsula. That'll be interesting to see. Siam's quiet. That Mongolian the Mongolian settler did a U-turn, and he's gonna go back to where he came from. Interesting. Let's go check out Iberia. Iberia should be a nice spot that has early war, depending on how aggressive Isabella wants to be. If she turns her attentions to France... Ooh, that's going to be a big city. Porto is going to be a huge city here for Portugal, as it's going to be right next to Paris. The Romans are starting to do something here. Their settlers going out. Not sure where he's going to go. This is a massive army here by the Byzantines. No settler, no second city. Same thing with Lithuania. Will that backfire? Especially with all those archers, you only have 2 melee units. You could probably get Edirne here, But outside of that, you're not going to push Istanbul, you're not going to push Athens. You maybe could get the Gothic city, but those two hills are going to be very brutal for the AI to navigate, especially early game. Good expansion from Russia, nice neat border. Not much in terms of resources, but you're going to want to expand quick if Attila's next to you, because you know he's coming for you. More expansion from Mongolia. Nothing too crazy to report early. I'm surprised there's no war here. I've seen some turn 30 wars. I've done a few test runs, and I think I seen as early as turn 37 or 38. And it was, I want to say, a war in this area, or it was the Portugal-Spain war that was declared really early. So it'll be a good sign once we see it. And Seal's gonna make the Temple of Artemis, as we're already sitting on them. Let's go back to North America. Have any of your scouts made it down? It does not appear to be so just yet. Stonehenge from Japan is going to be interesting. They're isolated early game on their continent, so it's not like they can spread the religion very far. Nonetheless, I'm sure there's a method to their madness. See, now that's the definition of a great wonder. You stole the Great Library, most likely from Thebes, and now you're getting the Terracotta Army. That is good. That is great for Ethiopia. Now this is going to be the last turn of the first video here. And we're going to see... Oh, there we go. We're going to see some richness. Who is rich? And Nebuchadnezzar... See, Ramses needs to expand, especially if he's going to be rich like that. Same as... okay, you got a second city. You got a Cod. But you better buy some units or something, because the Assyrians are coming. Unless he's going to make a U-turn for Istanbul, which I highly doubt, considering you already border his nation. But we're going to do some early game infoatics before we head out. See who is where. So in terms of population, China is number 1. Ironic. Lithuania number 2. That's fine. I bet you that Egypt. Okay, I was going to say the Ottomans would be at the bottom, but it's going to be Egypt. Interesting. I guess they do have more than one city, which will help that. Crop yields. Again, not big margins, but the Shoshone and Russia being at the top is good signs for them, as well as the Iroquois. If you can top things like crop yields, manufactured goods, GNP, you know you're going to have a good game even if it's early. China coming up again. China again. So China's going to be an early powerhouse. Even though they have one city, they're making a lot of gold. They're producing and making a lot. Ignore me having the largest military. I just have a marine unit. Assyria, yeah, Assyria, Byzantium, Lithuania. So again, Byzantium and Lithuania are focusing on troops early on instead of settling cities. So if they can start capturing some of their neighbors, like Poland's near the bottom here, the Ottomans are near the middle, so if the Byzantines are going to make a push, they have strong Greek neighbors, and the Goths are near the bottom. So if they're going to make a push, you're going to presume it's going to be against the Goths, considering the Greeks are in the top 10, these guys are middle of the pack, and you just kind of don't have the strength to push through those mountains this early in the game. Is there anybody coming out to a hot start in terms of literacy? That's alright. We got Ethiopia off to a hot start. And I'm surprised Poland. Okay, I was going to say Poland should be there. Mongolia at 4 cities, and that's pretty much it. But yeah, get your predictions going in the chat for who you guys think is gonna win. I know I didn't do every region the same amount of justice. I kind of ignored the Middle East here, but when it kicks off, it's gonna kick off, and it'll be a big area of focus for us, especially once Assyria declares war inevitably on either Persia, the Ottomans, or Babylon. But yeah, thank you again, guys. Leave a like, a comment, subscribe if you enjoy this kind of content, and be sure to look out for this again. Thank you.